from medieval backwardness. I knew, or thought I knew, that the High Middle Ages in Europe was an era of passionate religious faith, and the bloody Crusades, inquisitorial terror, and fierce doctrinal dogmatism. I knew, or thought I knew, that Aristotle was the father of science, a thinker who believed that human reason, not tradition, revelation, or sentiment, could uncover objective truths about the universe. Naturally, in bringing these volatile extremes together, I expected an explosion. The Aristotelian revolution would no doubt be a drama like Galileo versus the Inquisition, or Charles Darwin versus the creationists, an earlier version of the modern morality play in which brave reason suffers at the hands of villainous superstition before triumphing in the sunny dawn of science. Wrong. The story I found myself telling was far more complex and interesting than this stock scenario. Yes, scientific thinking in the West did begin in the intellectual explosion that followed the rediscovery of Aristotle's writings. But European Christians did not split into rationalist and fundamentalist camps as I had expected. In a way that violated all of my modernist preconceptions, the leading force for transformative change in Western thinking turned out to be the leadership of the Catholic Church, the very same leadership that was also conducting anti-Muslim crusades and burning Christian heretics. Rather than choose between the new learning and the old religion, the popes and scholars of the High Middle Ages tried to modernize the Church by reconciling faith and reason. This Herculean task generated one of the richest, most searching debates in Western history, a battle of innovative thinkers whose discussions ranged over a vast spectrum of disputed issues, from the nature of scientific knowledge and the basic structures of mind and matter, to the hope of immortality, the problem of evil, the sources of moral value, and the basic criteria for living a good life. Meeting the great scholastics and reliving their stormy debates proved an unexpectedly moving and absorbing experience. So much so that my friends and students claimed that I had disappeared into the Middle Ages. But it was not really an escape from the present, since the concerns of these medieval thinkers resonate so sonorously with ours. The Aristotelian revolution took place during a period of economic growth, political expansion, and cultural awakening unprecedented in Europe, a turbulent, creative, dangerous era that some call the medieval Renaissance. People then, as now, felt a great yearning for wholeness and meaning in a world suddenly grown both smaller and more unfamiliar. They were consumed by the desire to understand, and by the need to make their lives on earth count for something. Perhaps that is why memorable characters like Peter Abelard and Roger Bacon, Thomas Aquinas, William of Ockham, and Meister Eckhart seem to speak to us so directly about matters of common concern. Like us, they were experiencing an unsettling sort of globalization. Their great passion was to integrate their understanding of the way things are and the way they should be. Their mission, as Aristotelians and as Christians, was to bring intellectual and moral order into a transforming world. By the 14th century, despite these efforts, faith and reason were already headed toward the conflict-ridden separation that has characterized their relations ever since. What our story demonstrates, however, is that this condition is not eternal. The civilization that we call modern, with its split between the cultures of the heart and the head, its sanctification of power, privatization of religion, and commodification of values, emerged out of a very different past, and is in the process of evolving toward a very different future. Late in the writing process, it dawned on me that this might account for the studied indifference that has all but erased the Aristotelian revolution from our historical memory. Such blank spots are often the result of the semi-conscious neglect reserved for stories that run counter to generally accepted notions of who we are as a people and how we got that way. Even though they relate to events that happened long, long ago, these contrary tales still have an unsettling capacity to rock the boat. So it is with the story told here. In reliving the Aristotelian revolution, we understand that we are not just the children of Copernicus and Galileo, Adam Smith and Thomas Jefferson, but Aristotle's children, the heirs of a medieval tradition that seems more intriguing and inspiring as the shortcomings of modernity become clearer. Of course, most of us would not return to the Middle Ages if we could. Few people today would embrace the assumptions and conclusions of the medieval scholastics. But the Aristotelians' quest for meaning is also ours, and we have much to learn from their vision of a science infused by ethics and a religion unafraid of reason. In this little-known but formative chapter of our history, we may detect hints of a more humane and integrated global future. Prologue: The Medieval Stargate. There are few stories more appealing than tales of ancient knowledge long lost, then astonishingly found. In the classic version, an unsuspecting discoverer uncovers buried tablets while digging in a field, stumbles upon clay jars in a cave, or finds a dust-covered lamp or chest in the attic. Worthless junk, surely. On the verge of discarding it, however, the finder hesitates. What odd signs and symbols are these, etched in the metal, inscribed in stone, or inked on rolls of stiffened parchment? Perhaps the musty old thing has some value after all. The innocent discoverer has no idea, of course, that these arcane markings embody the voices of a vanished world. Someone more knowledgeable will have to recognize the relic for what it is, an intellectual treasure far more precious than gold or jewels, a source of ancient wisdom and power. Yes, a potent talisman capable of conjuring up the past, altering the present, and disclosing the path to the future. The tale I am about to tell does not have this classic storybook form. There are many discoverers, not just one, and many discoveries as well. But in some ways it is more wonderful than the story of Aladdin's lamp or the search for the lost Ark of the Covenant. Make no mistake about it, this is a history, not a fairy tale. But it is not the sort of history to which the inhabitants of a scientific age are accustomed. Could there be hidden in some long-forgotten storehouse a treasure trove of ancient knowledge, a body of learning so powerful and advanced that recovering it would revolutionize our thinking and transform our lives? From the standpoint of modern science, the notion is utter fantasy. We understand that scientific learning is cumulative, with each generation building on the work of its predecessors. We know a great deal more about the universe than our grandparents did, and their knowledge